how do you feel? Heavyweight champion of the world.
I'm very feel.
He didn't just conquer the cruiserweight division. He wiped it clean, left no stone unturned, and no man standing. Like a storm rolling in, he then marched up to heavyweight and dismantled giants one after another. For Oleksandr Usyk, this fight game was never just about stacking up titles or collecting shiny belts. Every time he steps inside that ring, he fights for something far greater, for a nation scarred by chaos, for a legacy carved out of blood, sweat and soul. He's undisputed. He's undefeated.
After going down for the second time, and there's the third knockdown.
He's untouchable. And he makes the sweet science look like poetry in motion.
Is this a sensation? Tyson Fury hanging on. Down he goes, does he?
In short, he just might be the greatest heavyweight of any era. This is the legend of Oleksandr Usyk. Welcome back to Fighting is Art. Long before the bright lights, roaring crowds and the tidal wave of championship belts, Oleksandr Usyk was just a boy from Simferopol, a quiet port city near the Black Sea. Back then, his battlefield wasn't a ring. It was a football pitch with quick feet and endless motion. The game was his escape, but his father, a disciplined man forged by military life, saw something deeper in his restless son. He knew this energy needed more than a ball. It needed a purpose, so he steered young Usyk towards the boxing gym. What came next was nothing short of extraordinary. Usyk's amateur career wasn't just successful, it was historic, with 335 wins and just 15 defeats. A staggering resume built on timing, adaptability, and complete control. The pinnacle came at the London Olympics in 2012, where he took out everyone to become an Olympic champion. The gold medal hung heavy with glory, but also with heartbreak. Because the man who had first taken him to that gym, the man who gave him structure, belief, and discipline, was no longer there to witness his ascent. Usyk's father passed away just days after the games, and so the medal didn't sit on a shelf. It was placed inside the coffin. That grief never left him, but it didn't break him either. Instead, it forged him into a bona fide legend. Early professional career. Usyk's step into the professional ranks didn't feel like a leap into the unknown. It felt like destiny calling him home. He carried into the Pied game the pedigree of an Olympic gold medalist, the dazzling footwork of a lightweight trapped in a heavyweight's body, and the blessing of the Klitschko brothers, legends who could spot greatness from a mile away. Usyk wasted no time proving them right. In his first 9 fights, he bagged 9 knockouts.
Musi szukać Usyk w kombinacjach swoich szans. Tak jak teraz. Ładnie trafił.
One after another, he carved through the ranks like a surgeon with gloves on. That southpaw stance, the feints, the angles, the rhythm, everything about him screamed control. Veteran fighters, men with years of experience, suddenly looked lost and swinging at air, chasing shadows as Usyk danced circles around them. With every finish, the noise around him grew louder. The whispers turned into a chorus. This wasn't just another Olympian cashing in on hype. This was different. This was special. By just his 10th professional fight, Oleksandr Usyk was rapidly climbing the ladder, and his milestone came against Krzysztof Glowacki, holder of the WBO cruiserweight belt. The fight took place in Poland. It was enemy territory with a hostile crowd roaring against him, but Usyk was the least bit intimidated. From the opening bell, Usyk set the tempo, circling, probing, and snapping out that southpaw jab like a whip. Every step Glowacki took forward, he ran straight into a wall of timing and precision. The Polish champion tried everything from pressing, brawling, and trying to drag Usyk into the mud. But Usyk turned him, angled him, and punished him at will. Glowacki had heart, but every charge ended the same way, with Usyk landing clean and gliding away untouched. Round after round, the challenger was painting a masterpiece, while the champion was forced to play catch-up. After 12 rounds of dominance, Usyk was the new WBO cruiserweight champion.
By winning the cruiserweight belt in just 10 fights,
Usyk achieved greatness faster than the legendary Evander Holyfield. But for Usyk, this wasn't the finish line. One belt was never the goal. This was just the beginning of an undisputed mission. Usyk's next chapter took him across the Atlantic, straight to boxing's brightest spotlight, the United States. It was a deliberate move, a chance to show American fans that this wasn't just hype from Europe, but the real deal. First up was Thabiso Mchunu, a tricky southpaw with experience and toughness. But once the bell rang, it was all Usyk.
This case.
Montel Griffin, a silver medalist, by the way.
Yeah, he's a good fight, trying different things, trying to set up a big shot, seeking to hurt.
Who dissected him round by round.
Well, this is not typical South African, I don't think.
That's right.
That was, but at the same time, when he got out, he was beating a lot of guys.
Speed and accuracy
for a big guy.
Cruiserweight.
Yes.
2+ guy, southpaw, that's impressive.
Stripping away his defenses until the ninth.
since the beginning of his pro career, is no slouch.
No, not at all. Throw one of those left hands again, too, Max.
Yep.
Like
got
that
him
right
hurt.
there. Yeah.
He's suddenly putting a lot of distance.
When the Ukrainian finally slammed the door shut in brutal fashion.
He's done his best fighting of the fight in the last 20 or 30 seconds. After going down for the second time, and there's the third knockdown.
Next came Michael Hunter, an undefeated American with Olympic credentials and plenty of ambition. Hunter came to win, and he pushed Usyk hard.
Cruiserweight division really doesn't have big things since Evander Holyfield.
The guy seems like kind of tentative.
But little by little, Usyk tightened the screws.
Usyk, a couple of body shots as he starts going very concertedly
To something else here, which is to impose his size and strength. Usyk.
left hand by Usyk.
He pressed the action, punished the body, and by the championship rounds, he was breaking Hunter apart.
Absolutely right.
Chopper is going to be a really difficult task to be able to...
Good uppercut.
Right, to be able to withstand the punch.
Will he be open for one?
And you would expect Usyk.
In the final frame, it looked like Usyk might stop him.
Hunter, right now Hunter is hurt with the left hook, and it might be over.
This would be big for Hunter to survive.
But Hunter's grit carried him to the bell, only for Usyk to win by a landslide decision.
Enough to take one himself.
Now he's going to take a really big beating because he can't defend himself, and he's really hanging in a win right now. I think he's...
Next up was the World Boxing Super Series, which was built for one purpose, to crown the true king of the cruiserweights. It was 8 elite fighters, every cruiserweight belt on the line and nowhere to hide. For Usyk, it was the perfect stage to prove his greatness. His first opponent was Marco Huck, a former long-reigning WBO champion, known for heavy hands, dirty tricks, and a mean streak that often spilled outside the rules. From the opening bell, Usyk neutralized Huck completely. He set the pace, controlled the distance, and made Huck swing at shadows while eating clean counters in return. By the 8th round, Huck's frustration was visible. After Usyk slipped to a knee, Huck landed a blatant cheap shot. Usyk didn't complain. He simply stood back up and punished him with ruthless precision, unloading combinations that left the veteran helpless. Moments later, the referee waved it off as Huck was done. 1 down, 2 to go. The road to undisputed title was officially underway. Usyk's next bout was a unification war against Maris Briedis, the undefeated WBC champion, known to his people as the Latvian Punisher. The Riga arena in Latvia was packed to the rafters, with a partisan crowd roaring for their hometown hero to defend his crown. From the opening bell, Briedis came out fast, snapping his jab, landing stiff right hands and pushing Usyk onto the back foot.
And we have here just beyond the good left jab once again, straight between the high held hands and a hard
He wasn't just surviving Usyk's rhythm, he was breaking it.
on the left leg, on the left foot of Usyk. Stiff right hand, and there's a Muay Thai.
Every time Usyk tried to establish control, Briedis answered back with power shots, making the Ukrainian fight harder than ever before.
Hand over the top from Briedis, and Usyk's tucking up, just alive in this second round.
The exchanges were fierce, with clean punches thudding back and forth, and neither man willing to take a step back.
One to the head, one to the body, back with a right hook. Give and take because both men are working on their deal, but an uppercut success on the end.
In the middle rounds, Usyk began to edge forward, bleeding but undeterred, planting his feet and firing back in combinations.
Defeated cruiserweight prospects Mikel Lawal, and Usyk is increasing the tempo this round. He spits a fleck of blood.
The Latvian refused to wilt, rallying with counters that kept the fight razor close.
Not always of the verbal variety, just nodding it from Briedis just caused Usyk to lose his balance. Posh.
In the championship rounds, Usyk shifted gears as his hands never stopped throwing.
Both boxers letting in. Neither really found a mark during that fusillade, but that left cross move.
And in the 12th, he delivered a final masterpiece, overwhelming Briedis with volume.
Perfect records, and still both men punching right up until the final bell.
The fight was close, but history leaned toward Usyk, and he was now the new unified cruiserweight champion of the world. With 2 wins in a row, it was now time for the undisputed title fight. In the heart of Moscow, and beneath the domed roof of the Olympijski Sports Complex, Murat Gesiyev, undefeated, ruthless, and armed with 2 world titles, stood as no joke. This was the battle for the ages, but from the opening bell, it was clear Usyk was there to paint a masterpiece. While Gesiyev loaded up on his trademark power shots, Usyk floated around him, his footwork almost unfair. Every attempt from Gesiyev to land heavy leather was met with a blur of movement and return fire. Each time Gesiyev tried to trap Usyk in a corner, he got turned. Each time he tried to explode, he was met with a stinging 3-punch combination. Usyk's engine never slowed, and his hands never stopped. He threw in volume and drowned Gasiyev's timing, and made one of the division's biggest punchers look ordinary. By the 12th, it was a total shutout, with Usyk throwing an astonishing 95 punches in the final 3 minutes alone, nearly triple Gasiyev's output. The once deafening Moscow crowd had fallen silent, forced to watch their champion get schooled before their eyes. When the final bell rang, the judges were unanimous, and history was written. Oleksandr Usyk was the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, the first to do it in the 4-belt era, the second in history after Evander Holyfield. The heavyweight division was firmly in Usyk's sights now. But before making the leap, he wanted one last stand at cruiserweight against Tony Bellew.
I'm going to get rid of him. I'm going to find a way. Just know it's going to happen. I'm going to take all 4 of them belts on November the 10th.
The cocky Brit boxed smart, stayed composed, and even snatched a few rounds on the scorecards.
Series, he's got bags of experience. Doesn't really always lose against them, but it's hard to get the...
But Usyk was doing what he always does, downloading data, letting Bellew show his hand, quietly calculating every move.
Shores, it's a good opportunity here. The body and landing. Also trying to draw him in so he can land a big counter punch on Eric.
A jab here, a feint there, a step at an angle no one else sees.
One of the first times I've ever seen let him get set. And we get getting close. Estimate Tony Bellew's boxing ability. So Bellew be waiting. Usyk unbeaten, but he's nonchalantly shakes his hands on his head.
Bellew was working hard, but Usyk was already building the trap.
And that's what he's looking for. Right there. Big shot from top machine. So many cons. Fight goes on. Combinations off that jab. Tony Bellew does not want to sit to Aston. I think David Hayes has got something to say here.
By round 8, the difference in class was undeniable as Usyk had been inching forward, closing the gaps, turning the screw with every feint, every angle, every step.
I've got to be honest, I'm looking concerned for Tony Bellew here on his back. 15 wins. Countered and landed on Usyk. Tony Bellew wearing down, still looking for that right hand, really closing this gap.
Soon, a devastating left hand shut Bellew's lights out in an instant.
With real, minimum effort, good shot. And Oleksandr Usyk finds the answer and submits.
Just like that, it was over. It was Bellew's farewell and Usyk's last act as a cruiserweight. And now, heavyweights were covering their eyes in horror in a division ruled by giants. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder. Oleksandr Usyk's move to heavyweight raised more than a few eyebrows. Was he too small? Could that elusive style survive against men this much bigger? And most of all, did he have the power to make them respect him? His debut against Chaz Witherspoon's answered a lot of questions, but it didn't silence the critics.
Derek, how are you? Hey Derek, how are you? Derek! I said hello, Derek! Derek!
Oleksandr! Oleksandr! How are you, Oleksandr? I'm coming for you!
If anything, the whispers grew louder, and then came Derek Chisora.
Because the way I'm going to come for him is going to be unbelievable. I'm going to go through him.
A rugged brawler with a history of chaos, Chisora wasn't coming to box. He was coming to break Usyk. He'd flattened Artur Szpilka and David Price, and he promised to do the same to the slick Ukrainian. Right from the opening bell, Usyk realized he was in a fight against the hulking Chisora. He had to grit his teeth, cover up, and even burn energy in grueling clinches just to survive those first exchanges.
Too long, he's got to force him, step back and walk him onto his shot.
By the second round, Chisora muscled his way into space, letting his hands go with thudding power shots.
This is good work from Chisora. This is exactly what he needs to do. Chisora just standing his ground a bit, Usyk.
But Usyk didn't panic as he began to unravel the puzzle in front of him.
Close a landing, a nice right hand himself.
If he doesn't get that success early, that's a big question mark as well. The power of anything that he can.
As the fight wore on, Usyk's movement turned into a masterpiece. He floated around the ring like a dancer, tagging Chisora with pinpoint punches.
Now, Chisora, doesn't he just need to try? Oh, good action here in the 7th, and Usyk opening up.
Usyk absorbed Chisora's best heavyweight punches, stood his ground, and fired back to prove he truly belonged at this new weight class.
Left hand and a right. 142nd of Usyk's real drive and
the angle. And obviously he's the lighter man, he's at the edge.
To his credit, Chisora's heart never wavered. In the 9th, he dug deep and smashed Usyk with some heavy leather of his own, refusing to roll over.
Who has all these styles, the contrasting characters. As Usyk just...
But ultimately, class told the story. Usyk's superior footwork, sharper timing, and bottomless gas tank were simply too much. And as the final bell rang, there was no denying that the Ukrainian's brilliance had carried the night By then, Anthony Joshua was back on the rise after the shock loss to Andy Ruiz. He had reclaimed his titles in the rematch, then flattened Kubrat Pulev in dominant fashion. The confidence was back, the swagger had returned, and to the British faithful, the king was home again. But on September 25th, 2021, inside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Oleksandr Usyk rewrote the script. From the opening bell, Usyk outclassed Joshua.
A tactical tussle. A straight away start by good left hand from Usyk. The chest area at the minute. Just got hand.
One jab at a time, one angle at a time, one pivot at a time.
Oh, you're the guy into making a mistake. Good left in his, early on while in a hard camp for Usyk. Really well here, but I always think again, good shots from Usyk coming.
Usyk even cracked Joshua early.
The challenger from the Ukrainian, a beautiful shot, and is looking.
And he never let the bigger man set his feet.
The challenge, Portsider in the air. The right hands as well, good left hook from Joshua so well. Joshua definitely coming back in.
By round 9, Joshua's right eye was nearly swollen shut.
Yeah, absolutely. Did almost caution to the wind. Final straight right hand, straight back at it.
Even in the championship rounds, Usyk poured it on.
And again Usyk to Joshua there. Good right hand load from Joshua.
He pressed forward, landing in combinations, and pushed the giant back against the ropes.
Really convinced when he comes in behind it. Top class, he's been accurate, he's boxed to an excellent move, the feints, and the match.
The crowd could only watch as the smaller man bullied the bigger one in the closing seconds.
Usyk is side to side, still peppering him with lows, and Oleksandr Usyk agreed to it.
When the final bell rang, Usyk had just done the unthinkable. A former cruiserweight had walked into London and stripped the WBA, Super, IBF, WBO, and IBO heavyweight king, proving that the bar was way higher than originally thought. By then, everything in Ukraine had come to a standstill. The Russian invasion had shaken the nation to its core. And like so many of his countrymen, Usyk reported to the front lines, not as a world champion, but as a citizen ready to defend his home. But Vitaly Klitschko urged him to return and carry on fighting on a different battlefield. Usyk's mission changed instantly, and he agreed upon a rematch with Anthony Joshua. Now, he wasn't just fighting for belts, he was fighting for his people, for his flag, for Ukraine. When the bell rang in Jeddah, the energy was different.
Hustle on his left boot, well reckless to any sort of 6 or Usyk late. Doesn't want to wait too long. Left hand from Usyk. Usyk, lovely left.
Joshua came with intent.
To watch at times. That's on. Left hook to the body now.
He pressed forward, went to the body, and landed heavy right hands.
To start, then he had in through the fight back with the right hand. Oh, good shot to move.
For the first time in a very long time, Usyk looked human.
He normally fights, but there is urgency. Close round so far.
But he was still landing.
They both fell this week. Usyk wants to be undisputed. Starts to plant again. A good shot from Usyk.
It was as close as a fight could get.
Hasn't quite got there. And again, that's better. Try to stay here.
But champions don't fold, they rise.
AJ wants to stay target in the body. But he's in on it. Oh, left hand from Usyk.
And in round 10, Usyk did just that.
Oh, good shot from Usyk. Oh, he's a bit open there. But again, he's up the gears here.
He unleashed 39 punches, nearly doubling Joshua's output, swinging the momentum with sheer will.
But still, Usyk finding the answers.
Every shot carried not just skill, but the weight of a nation behind it.
The wind, certainly in the 12th. Right. Stamina good though from Joshua. The movement and the act.
When the final bell rang, both men were exhausted, but only one had found that extra gear. The judges read it as a split decision, but there was no doubt that Usyk had done it again. Not just defending titles this time, but defending pride, identity, and his country's spirit on the world stage.
I'm gonna bust him! Sausage, ugly little man, rabbit! Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run!
After taking out Joshua, Usyk set his sights on Tyson Fury. The road to Fury versus Usyk wasn't just a negotiation. It was a war of words, of money, of egos.
Yous are all dossers. He's getting knocked out, and yous two are going to be working for me carrying me bag slinks.
And standing in the middle of it all was the immovable object, Tyson Fury. This was the first undisputed heavyweight title fight in the four-belt era. For Fury, a chance to prove his dominance. For Usyk, a chance to carve his name into the rarest chapter of boxing history, undisputed in two weight divisions.
When the Lord gives me Tyson in my hands, I will make my job.
Usyk wasted no time setting the tone early, snapping Fury's head back with clean, razor-sharp left hands in the very first round.
Mistake could prove fatal. He calls it a rabbit.
That punch go then.
But Fury, ever the composed giant, didn't panic. He soaked up the punishment with that calm poker face, all while quietly studying Usyk, looking for gaps to exploit.
All week long, and even in the introductions here tonight.
And generally speaking, there's a left hand again from Usyk.
It's all around, it's all the same.
By the third round, the big man started to click into gear. Fighting off the back foot, Fury pumped out his jab and tried to claim ownership of the center of the ring.
All week long.
By the fifth, it looked like he had cracked Usyk's code, timing him better and landing his own punches with a lot more authority. For much of the middle rounds, Fury seemed to be dictating the pace, but Usyk, as always, was a patient predator.
Comfortable on the front foot and on the back foot, and target with the right to the body.
In round 7, Usyk exploded with blistering two-punch combinations, slicing Fury's defense apart and leaving blood trickling down the big man's face.
He needs to take that little step.
In round 9, Usyk's big moments came when a savage left hand cut through Fury's defenses and sent the giant reeling across the ring.
Fury doesn't know where he is. He's all over the ring. Is this a sensation? Tyson Fury hanging on. Down he goes. Does he?
The follow-up barrage nearly ended it. Fury was saved only by the ropes and the referee's mercy. From then on, the fight belonged to Usyk. He pressed forward, landing clean, calculated shots, breaking Fury's rhythm and his will. When the final bell rang, the judges called it a split decision. But for those with a close eye on the game, there was no controversy. The right man had won. Oleksandr Usyk had made history. The first man ever to unify all 4 belts at cruiserweight, and then all 4 belts at heavyweight. 6 months later, the rematch was signed. This time, Tyson Fury wasn't his usual self. No trash talk, no mind games, no circus. He knew now that none of it worked on Usyk. So he came quiet, locked in and focused. Bell rang, and right away it felt different. Both men knew what was coming. The early rounds were tense and tactical, like two chess masters probing for openings.
Last time, but Usyk aggressive as well. Trying to for the mistake. Good work from Fury.
Fury had the better of the opening exchanges.
More intense shot. Sides and feints.
By the middle rounds, though, the flow belonged to Usyk. Usyk carved angles, slipped shots, and countered with precision. Every time Fury found a moment of success, Usyk snatched it back with relentless pressure. In the championship rounds, Usyk did what has defined his entire career. He found another gear. Pressing forward with combinations, breaking Fury's rhythm and spirit. After 12 rounds of war, Usyk bagged another big win. He was still undefeated, still undisputed, still the king of heavyweight boxing.
Well done on tonight. Well done on tonight.
God bless. I want my revenge for the robbery in last time.
It was Daniel Dubois' turn to test the Ukrainian once again. In their first clash, Daniel Dubois lost by TKO that many thought was a direct result of a low blow. Some said it was legitimate, others swore it was the body shot that should have made him champion. Whatever the truth, Dubois walked away without the belt, convinced he had been robbed. Dubois came back with vengeance, stacking up a 3-fight win streak that reignited belief. When the rematch began, Dubois pressed forward with bad intentions, determined to make a statement.
Believe and commit to it. The damage down the feet in Dubois. Poor jab but he'll stop.
But Usyk had seen this before. Bigger men, younger men, power punchers who thought pressure would break him.
Against Tyson, looks Daniel Dubois. What did happen in Poland?
Dubois loaded up, aiming again for that same body shot from the first fight. But this time Usyk was ready.
Usyk's working hard.
Wembley, beautiful work. Dave Dubois is far. 27 after those wins.
He slipped, he countered, and he controlled the pace with surgical precision. Every time Dubois tried to step in, Usyk beat him to the punch.
He's going to slide to the left when he's down and he took all the shots in the chest of Usyk. When he spins, see there that Usyk does his right side.
The angles, the footwork, the rhythm changes. It was a masterclass in control.
See there as Dubois comes in.
To go. It's not that fast, but the timing's impeccable.
Through and there's a smart. His punches.
That left hand crashed through the middle again and again. Sharp, selective, breaking Dubois' confidence one round at a time.
Wheels in the garden a few years ago.
Always relaxing. There's not loads of weight on it.
He's just looking at Dubois' body and then chanting.
And then came the inevitable as Usyk's precision broke him down.
From Usyk.
Usyk was still undefeated, still undisputed, still the king. Oleksandr Usyk didn't just defend his titles. He defended his name, his pride, and the people he represents. He carried himself with class, fought with honor, and once again stood as a symbol for his nation, for Ukraine, for boxing, for everyone who refuses to give up. Usyk proved he is more than a champion. He is the standard. Is Oleksandr Usyk the greatest heavyweight of all time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications.